Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Goblin RIDES Podcast. Today I'm joined by, again, the wifey. How you doing?
I'm good.
You doing okay?
Yeah.
What's been going on this week, then? Anything interesting? I mean, well, I got to have a go on the GSX 1000 over the weekend. Had a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it.
The only other thing, which is not bike related, is that we watched Squid Game.
Oh, that's
season.
true. Yeah. Squid Game.
I'm still very much recovering from holiday, so I'm still in very relaxed mode. So I haven't got anything exciting to add, but yeah, we watched Squid Game, didn't we? We spread it out over 3 days.
It was quite good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but it's just a bit of a weird ending, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't want to give anything away.
No spoilers, but yeah,
it didn't give me enough. I've been left wanting more.
Yeah, it kind of felt like the day after we were saying to ourselves, "Oh, shall we watch Squid Game?" Squid Game. That's something entirely different.
Yeah.
Shall we watch Squid Game? And then we both realised, we finished it.
So I think the only thing I would say, which isn't a spoiler, I don't think, is there were certain things that in season 3 I really needed to remember from season 2.
Right.
So I think watching season 2 and season 3 back to back is probably needed. So at some point I want to watch them all back to back. So there's certain things I'll pick up. Yeah. Certain characters that are mentioned or what have you, or reference, and I couldn't think who they were. Yeah. So otherwise,
to be honest, I think we'll watch it all again, all the way through anyway.
I think
at some point in the near future, probably later on this year.
Probably towards Christmas when the weather's cold, we've got nothing else to do.
But aside from that, this weekend I'm going to be at a little open day at Fraser's Motorcycles. The event starts at 12 in the afternoon, so I'm going to be there from around about that time for an hour or so. You're coming as well, aren't you? So if you wanna say hello to us, that's where we're going to be on Saturday. I mean, it's a little bit annoying because this podcast isn't going to be coming out until Friday, so people
doesn't give people much time.
Yeah, doesn't
Maybe
give
we
people
can put a
time,
post out to say we'll be there.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll put a little post out at some point, maybe today or tomorrow. But okay, so today's topic, we're actually going to be discussing something that came up on Reddit. I mean, it says here an hour ago, so it's pretty fresh. And we're just gonna see how we feel about it and see if there's anything that we can do to help with this person. So okay, I'll bring it up for you.
And this is a really interesting one because it's something that is really relevant.
It is relevant because we're going to become parents in the very near future.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
But okay. Became a dad. Should I give up my bike? Hey everyone, I've been looking for some insight from other riders who have become parents. Big picture, I just got into riding 3 years ago, and at the end of the 2023 riding season, I bought a Triumph Tiger and totally fell in love with it. Last year, it was my best season yet. I put about 3,000 miles on it, which I know isn't a ton compared to some of you, but for me, it was a huge milestone. Riding has become one of my favorite things to do, a mix of freedom, mindfulness, and just fun. Fast forward to now, I just had my first son less than 3 weeks ago. I found myself seriously questioning whether it's responsible to keep riding. I'm a very cautious rider, always wear full gear, don't take necessary risks, don't take unnecessary risks. Yeah, that's not the right...
Take the necessary ones.
Yeah, take the necessary risks.
Not the unnecessary ones.
Yeah, don't take unnecessary risks. But we all know it's not always about how you ride, it's the unpredictability of everyone else on the road. We will talk about that. Because that's the thing that so many riders get caught up on. That statement right there. I've had a few people ask me if I'm getting rid of the bike, almost like it's a no-brainer. So for those of you who have been in this situation, did you keep riding after becoming a parent? Did you pause for a while or walk away altogether? Did you ever regret either decision? I'm not looking for a black and white answer, but I'm curious to hear how others have thought about it.
I think the first thing that came into my head and the first thing I wanted to know before you started reading it was whether his partner had said you need to give up. And it hasn't been mentioned. I mean, it's come across that he is coming up to it by himself.
It.
But I mean, we don't know the behind the story, behind the lines. But has anyone asked you if you're going to give up riding?
No.
No one's asked me if you're going to give up, or if I want you to.
No, some people have asked you.
Have they?
Haven't they? Yeah, they said like, oh, how do you feel about it now that you're going to be a mum?
Yeah, the thing is, not enough people for me to remember, because it's not like it's not everyone in my life who's asked. It's been like someone I don't know very well through work has maybe asked.
Yeah, this is quite a relevant thing.
So
I have not once considered giving up the hobby because I'm going to be a dad.
I was about to ask, how do you feel personally?
I never once thought of that.
No.
I mean, doing this kind of stuff obviously is a big motivator because I'm a bit more involved in the hobby than probably the average person.
Yeah.
Doing this kind of stuff, reporting on it, producing content on it. I mean, I could shift that where I don't ride as much or I don't ride at all whilst I'm shooting a video, and I'll just shoot videos, say, like in the studio here, and do it like that.
That's not what you want to do.
That's an option, but I don't want to do that.
No.
I don't want to do that. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting how he's asking this now.
Having already become
a father, whereas, would he have been thinking about this as his wife was going through, or partner was going through the pregnancy? So maybe he was in kind of two minds about it for most of the pregnancy.
Either that, or because it says there, I've had a few people ask me if I'm getting rid of the bike.
Oh, I see. So that's kind of put it in his head.
I wonder if that's made, and then he's looked at his son and gone, oh, maybe I should give this up.
Yeah.
I wonder if maybe he wasn't thinking about it. The thing is, the nice thing about this is that he's brought a bike that he absolutely fell in love with, and he's ridden 3,000 miles. And I don't care who you are. That's a lot of miles for anyone in 1 year.
Not really.
No, I think it is.
It's not. I mean, I usually average about 5,000 miles a year, but that's on different bikes.
Yeah, but on one bike.
So yeah, I mean, on my ER6, I had that exclusively. That's true. I had for most of my riding career, I had that bike exclusively. So I did all of my mileage on that, and in 1 year I did almost 10,000 miles on that bike.
But for this guy, it's obviously a big thing. But there's one of the most important things on there, he says, is riding has become one of my favourite things to do, a mix of freedom, mindfulness, and just fun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, freedom, probably not what your partner wants to hear. But mindfulness, really important. He's going to need that break.
But no, when he says freedom, he means that the experience is freeing, not that he needs not that he needs freedom from the household, although that is another use case. No, it's just being out and just having that wind on your face and just not having to think about anything other than just the riding experience. That's what he means there.
I think becoming a parent is obviously going to be stressful for everyone, because you'll try and get into a new routine, you've got a new baby, you're going to have I think as an individual you need something which you can just go and do for an hour every day, every couple of days, once a week or whatever, that is just lets you be you. And like you say, mindfulness, it could be the difference between snapping and having an argument about something really silly and having a clear head and being present.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think the problem is that too many parents, they have this big thing that happens throughout their lives, and then all of a sudden everything becomes more about them, the child, not rather than them, the parents as people. So you find a lot of them will give up on their hobbies, and even though that motorcycle riding in a lot of ways is a hobby, it can be a practical hobby, but it's a hobby nonetheless. It's one of those things that I think most people regard as, oh, that's a young man's thing, give it up.
It's not true though,
because it's going to be so dangerous and whatever, blah blah blah, all the things that haters say about bikes on a very regular basis. But I think that's one of the worst decisions you can make as a new parent, giving up on your hobbies, giving up who you are. I don't think, like, look, the hobbies that I do, right? If you said that to a risk-averse person, they'd be like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
I ride bikes every single day, and I run a martial arts dojo where I'm getting kicked in the head almost on a weekly basis. That's what I enjoy doing. I'm not going to give either of those things up just because I'm going to become a dad. And you can do, like we always say, you can do these things responsibly. You know, I'm not a prize fighter, so it's not one of those things where I'm not wearing any helmets or gloves or anything like that when I'm doing the martial arts.
Yeah,
the same applies when I'm riding the bikes as well. Yeah. So it's like you can still enjoy these things, and you can still enjoy them whilst, you know, not being stupid about it.
My dad has only ever given up riding once, and that was when he sold his bike so that they could buy a house, like for a deposit for a house. But that was
different, isn't it?
Yeah, hang about. And then my mum literally brought him the bike, like another bike, as soon as she could afford to. But when we were born, no, I don't think my dad gave it up. I remember I've always grown up with bikes around me. I think my mum has a very similar attitude to what I have. Very much like my dad needs as much space as I would need, or you would need as a new dad. I would, you know, it's not fair to expect you to be in the house 24/7. You know, it's not healthy. And I think if you have a hobby that you really enjoy, you're not riding unnecessarily fast or taking risks that are ridiculous. You know, you've got your helmet and your gloves on. I don't see the problem with it.
I mean, let's because whilst we're talking about it, let's have a look at this statement here. Don't take unnecessary risks, but we all know it's not always about how we ride. It's the unpredictability of everyone else on the road. That is an untrue statement. And that's actually, I mean, you can tell this person's been riding for only a few years because that's what everyone thinks. The amount of things that you can do as the rider to keep yourself safe, even surrounded by unpredictable driver behavior, that's on you. That's on you as the rider. Yeah. And that's one of those things that you realise. I mean, you should have realised it by now, to be honest with you, but it's one of those things that you hear so much. Like, everyone goes on about, oh, it's not you, it's everyone else. And it's like, yeah, everyone else is a danger, but you are in control of the bike. Yeah. You have options. If you ride in a certain way where a situation, unpredictable situation unfolds and you don't have any options left, that's on the rider. A rider should always give themselves options. And so this is where that's been put into his head. Yeah. Because if you are a rider and you've been doing it for a long time, you'll know it's not the case.
But that's where I've got this thought that maybe this whole thing has been put in his head. This wasn't a natural thought for him. Yeah. Because you've not thought this at all, have you? Should I give up riding just because I'm pregnant? No.
There's always that what if kind of process that goes into your head. You shouldn't be thinking like that.
But
you should be thinking, one, how much can I enjoy it, the riding experience, and concentrating on what's going on around you, not asking yourself, oh, what if I crash every 2 seconds? Because that's not going to happen.
But if you have that mentality, you would never leave the house. What if I get out in my car and I have a crash? What if I cross the road and someone runs me over? Yeah. What if I get mugged, stabbed, whatever? You'd never leave your house. Yeah. And I think this is just another example of that.
But this is those what ifs that for some reason seems to be more justifiable than everything else that you just said.
Yeah.
Even though all those other things are wild possibilities, as it is getting involved in a crash. But just keep that in mind, you guys, all right? It's even if something unpredictable happens that is outside of your control, it's up to you to give yourself options so you can escape, so you can brake, so there's something you can do to either avoid the crash entirely, or if it is going to be a crash, minimize the damage to you and the bike. Honestly, that to some people that might sound totally pigs flying, but that's absolutely how a motorcyclist has to think.
Something else that I maybe I've missed it, maybe I've forgotten, something else that I would, if I was this person, is, do I want to give up my bike? If this,
it doesn't seem like he wants to.
No, but he hasn't. but it feels like he's on the fence whether he should or not. I don't know what's going on in this person's head, but if you don't want to give it up, then why should you give it up?
It's the statement that he said here, how I've had a few people ask me if I'm getting rid, almost like it's a no-brainer. That's the problem. It's
expected of him to give it up.
That's the issue here.
Do you know what the funny thing is? It's like it's slightly different, but it irritates me just as much. And this is just my own bugbear. So we got another car, didn't we? So we could have a family car. And everyone said to me, did you get rid of your ST? And I was like, no. Why would I? I absolutely adore my car. It's so much fun. It's for me, it's just an ideal car. But there was an automatic assumption that...
that everything in your life has to change.
Because it's a 3-door, that I was going to have to get rid of my car to have a sensible mum car. And I don't want that. And for me, it's the same thing as this. It's that expectation that all of a sudden, yes, my life is going to change somewhat because I'm going to have a little girl to look after, but not everything in my life is going to change.
No, exactly.
And it shouldn't have to change. And it's the same for this guy. Not everything should have to change just because he's become a dad. Okay, maybe he's going to be a bit more aware of what's going on around him. Maybe he's going to be a little bit more cautious. But
so... an easy way to kind of figure this whole thing out, whether you should or shouldn't, remove the whole idea of it being a motorcycle and replace that with snooker, or replace that with pool, or replace that with tennis, replace it with swimming, replace it with anything. Do you think people will be asking him the same question?
No.
Like, as if it's a no-brainer. Oh, why are you swimming? You're becoming a dad. What are you thinking? What are you doing? You know, right? Are you that irresponsible? Right? When you think about it like that, it doesn't make sense.
Because there's that connotation that motorcycles are dangerous.
Right. That's the difference here. But if you treat motorcycle riding as it's meant to be, so like any other hobby, then none of this matters. You know what I mean?
As someone who's about to become a father in the next 3 months, do questions like this annoy you?
No.
Can you understand why they're being asked? Or
they don't annoy me. I mean, thing is, I kind of... Because I get it a lot anyway, just in regular life. Like... oh, why are you riding bikes? Or, aren't they really dangerous? Or, I gave up riding bikes because I felt they were too dangerous.
Yeah, I dropped it standing still, I've given up.
I get that an awful lot.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's nothing new, to be honest.
The thing about...
I mean... I think it's people trying to inject their own...
opinions.
Opinions, yeah, but more along the lines of... oh God, how do you describe it? Like, again, it's their fears.
Yeah.
It's their manifesting fears, and they're imagining themselves in your shoes and thinking, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
But you're two totally different people.
Yeah.
And your tolerance for risk, so-called risk, is one thing, but also... for a lot of people, the idea of something is scarier than the actual thing.
Yeah.
You know, like people get it into their heads that motorcycle riding is significantly scarier than it actually is when you're actually going out and riding.
This is a funny thing because it's not motorcycle related, but I think my brother gets it a lot as well.
About
because
what?
he goes off to like Nepal.
Oh, of course, because he's a
mountain guide.
Yes.
And he goes to Nepal regularly, Morocco. He's going to Greece as well for like a scouting trip.
That'd be cool.
But he went and he did. It's called Manaslu, which is the 8th most dangerous mountain in the world. And he went.
I love it when people say that.
And he's got 2 kids. They're 6 and 8. And people are like, "Oh, should you really be doing that? Like, it's so dangerous." My brother's like, he knows the risk he's taking. He's not just going off and doing it with no training, no qualification, and no guide. And
he's an expert in the field.
And the thing is, this particular one that he did, I'm just talking about now, he actually did that for his own, like, his own validation. I don't know if that's the right word, but he did that because it was something he wanted to cross off his bucket list. He wasn't taking a bunch of people up there, but he had like a guide and everything. So he's not taking unnecessary risks, but he still gets this as well. People saying, oh, you're a father, you shouldn't be doing these dangerous things. And his response is, but I'm also a human. Like, I was a person before I was a dad. And it's the same here.
Yeah.
He's a husband, he's a father, he's a brother, he's a son. Yeah. But he's also a person. And it's the same with this guy. You are a person first. Yeah. A lot of people argue with me and go, no, when you're a parent, that comes first. And it's like, well...
Okay, let's follow that train of thought a little bit. So, your brother's an expert in the thing that he's doing.
Yeah.
Would you consider this person, after 3 years of riding, an expert in riding motorcycles? Would you consider them an expert here?
I don't know. We did a podcast about this, didn't we? About when I thought you became an expert, I've forgotten what I said.
For me, personally, if he's putting 3,000 miles a year on a bike, he's probably spending in the region of, I don't know, between 10 and 20 hours per year. In fact, no, more than that, probably. Riding.
Yeah.
You know, so he's spending a lot of time in the saddle, and that's just 1 year.
But
I think after you've been doing it for a few years, I think you can consider yourself an expert in doing it.
Caveat to that, you can ride for 3 years and do 700 miles over 3 years.
But this is what I mean.
Do you know what I mean?
This lad has ridden 3,000 miles in a single year. So
he's definitely got more expertise than some.
But like, if you're doing it every day,
yeah,
or multiple times per week, after a few years, yeah. Right, okay, a great example, actually. In a lot of martial arts, doing training for 3 to 4 years, multiple times per week, so say two or three times per week, by the end of that 3 to 4 years, you should expect to be a black belt by that point.
Right.
Would people consider a black belt an expert in that field?
A lot of people do, don't they?
I would say, yeah, you should be. If you have one of those belts and you've earned it, if that applies to martial arts, the same surely should apply to a bike.
But
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, did something happen?
It just blacked out for a second.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see what that's like in post then.
But the thing is as well, and I know this is like a really extreme example, there's so many other things that people can do which is more dangerous. You know, like people do, like, I don't know, wild swimming and free diving as hobbies.
I don't like putting it like that. I don't like saying things are more dangerous than others.
No, but what
for me, if it's a hobby that you enjoy doing and you're good at it, then the danger is to no one. No, you're right. But I think what I'm trying to say is that there's so many other things you could put this argument to. Like, oh, you do this, you should give it up because you're becoming a dad. But basically, the way I see it, and I'm a wife of someone who rides, I'm a daughter of someone who rides. The way I see it is you're a human first, and then you're a dad. This is something you were doing way before we got together. So I know we had a conversation recently, didn't we, about if someone you were interested in pursuing was like, no, you ride bikes, like, you'd be like, no, that's a deal breaker because this is my hobby, it's something I love. Mm-hmm. I just think people should, if you love the person who rides, you should respect their decision to continue riding. And trust them.
Especially, because he's ridden 3,000 miles. You said he's been riding since
2021.
2021?
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah. And obviously, you know, he hasn't said if he's had any crashes or accidents, but I think you should, I don't know, it just bothers me. Just let the man do what he wants to do. Again, it just irritates me.
It goes back to that same old thing. If you're going to get into a motorcycle crash, you minimize the damage as much as you can. Yeah. And that is all about the preparation that you do before you encounter some situation where there's going to be a crash.
I know obviously we have no like context behind it, but I would love to know what his partner would say.
And the thing is, I know that we're biased. Like this is one of those things that all of you lot know I'm never going to give up. Whilst I'm healthy enough to do it, I'm going to continue doing it, and I'm going to continue making content on it. And I understand that some people probably wouldn't necessarily take our point of view too seriously because of our position, but you've given up riding for the time being.
I have. That
doesn't mean that all of a sudden you automatically think differently about everything.
No,
does it?
I still love.
So it's like, okay, so yeah, I'm the biased one, but this is coming from you. This, a lot of these points are mirrored between two of us, and it's like as much as I love the hobby, I'm never going to be like, I'm not going to lie to people about it. Like, I'm always going to explain honestly what the pros and cons are, what the risks are, at least from my own experience. And that's, that's all you can do, really. But I honestly, I wouldn't lie to people about it. Yeah. So as much as this is coming from someone like me, I honestly think that it's better that way than someone talking to this lad about this stuff that has no idea about the hobby.
Do you know what I'm really curious about, though?
Because all these people that have said this, I've had a few people ask me if I'm getting rid of the bike, like it's a no-brainer. Yeah. These are all people that have got no clue.
Yeah.
No idea.
They're not riders themselves.
Yeah. They've got no idea what it's about. They have got no idea why it's so important to certain people. They just don't know.
I am really curious, though, guys. Let us know in the comments if it crossed your mind whether he was going to stop riding, whether you were going to stop doing the channel and stuff just because we're pregnant. I'm curious if that crossed anyone's mind at any point.
Oh, definitely. Definitely, I think so.
And if it,
I think so.
But yeah, he's not. I also would. I know how much this helps your mental health, and sometimes when you got itchy feet, I'm like, just go out for a ride, just don't take any cameras, just go have a ride, and you come back and you just seem more relaxed, you seem like more refreshed, and like
everything's better.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say you come back a complete different person, because that's not true.
Yeah.
But you just come back and you just have a little bit more of a spring in your step, your shoulders. You don't look like you're carrying so much on your shoulders. For me, we're gonna have a newborn around. I'm gonna encourage you, look, just go out for a ride, go have 15-20 minutes, go ride, and then you're gonna come back and gonna go, here she is, I'm gonna go do my thing for half an hour.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be just as important for these people. I mean, I'm assuming he's still in a relationship. I don't know the situation, but assuming he's in a relationship, it's going to be just as important for these people to have a little bit of space to breathe and be like, yes, I am a person, come back and be the best version of themselves, because they've had that time to decompress, to go to something they enjoy. It's going to be really important for both of them. So I don't think he should give up his riding. As he says, it does so much for him.
And going back to what you were saying about mental health, again, I think the problem with dads a lot of the time, and the same happens to mums as well, because the child becomes all-consuming, like their life ends up revolving around this little being. But parents get bored
sitting at home,
not having hobbies, and I think that's really damaging to mental health.
Yeah, it is.
Of not just parents, but anyone. If you don't have a hobby, if you don't have something that you enjoy, something that that like gets you away from the stresses of life, it's damaging, man.
I have a couple of hobbies. I mean, they're not hobbies that get me out the house, but they're hobbies that.
Well, you do the martial arts with me.
I do the martial arts too, and that's something I really enjoy. But my other two hobbies are things that I do at home, but I really enjoy, and that's just and I get so involved in what I'm doing that I kind of everything else melts away, and that's for me that's taken time for my mental health. So like you say,
that's what motorcycles do for a lot of us. That's just I mean, for me, I'm lucky because I got two outlets. So I've got the martial arts and I've got bikes. So it's... To be fair, actually, with the martial arts, it's a little bit different because I'm responsible for everyone. But I can't just train, and it's a bit more than that. Trying to think about the sessions and the planning and all that.
But then
trying to run it is it's not quite the same.
Certain sessions, I try and take over a bit so you can go and play.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, and all of that for me really helps.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think I'd be able to do as much work as I did if it wasn't for these hobbies.
Yeah.
I think I would have gone crazy by now.
Yeah, and I think that is quite the crux of all of it, is like, just going back to what I said earlier, don't underestimate what a simple hobby can do for your mental health, but also it's gonna make you it's gonna make you more receptive to things that are happening at home. It might make you a better partner, it might make you a better dad. But you do need to remember you're a person first, and what's important to you and what you enjoy shouldn't be put on the back burner just because you now have another responsibility. If there's two of you in the household, responsibility gets split, right?
Yep.
Which, like I said, if you need to go off because you're like, I need to just go out for a ride for half an hour, I just need to get out, I'm not going to stop you because I know you're going to give me the same in return when I go, I just need to just go for... I just want to take the dog out by myself for 20 minutes. I just need to get out of the house.
I mean, let's be honest here. Like, when it comes to things like hobbies, if you don't have a hobby, for me, that's when they start sinking into bad habits. That's when they start sinking into things like drinking and smoking and gambling. It's things that they do because they're bored. It's
a vice, isn't it? To pass the time.
But the vices become more... They come to the forefront because... Yeah. They have nothing else to do, and so I do wonder if that, like, how much would something like this, riding a motorcycle, help someone or stop someone doing something like smoking or like drinking all day long or something like that, when they could be doing this?
Yeah.
Is that, how positive do you think that would be on the lifespan of the person? Like, I mean, I've made this reference a few times before. But how, like, no one talks about people when they smoke or when they drink a lot and how dangerous that is. But instead, you put motorcycles there and all of a sudden it makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And it doesn't. It's the exact opposite. Like, I would prefer someone to be riding bikes, despite someone saying, oh, they're dangerous, than them smoking or drinking all the time or gambling. That would be one of those, because it's far healthier for someone. A happy person lives longer, simple as that.
Yeah.
A happier person, a loved person lives longer, and things that make you happy will help you live longer. So, well, that's how I feel about it anyway. Do you have any final remarks, sweetie?
No, to be honest with you, I think I've said more than enough about this. The only thing I would want to know, and I've said this a couple of times now, is what their partner thinks, if anything. Whether they're more like me, where they know how important it is to you, and how healthy this is actually for you, or whether they're one of these people who have said, "Are you getting rid of the bikes?"
And one thing we should have a look here before we sign off is some of the comments here.
Yeah.
Get life insurance and ride. We both have life insurance.
And you ride.
And I ride.
Tick.
Yep. Yeah, in any case, life insurance is a good thing. People die for many reasons. Last thing you want is your family to struggle financially. But again, people are putting this into this context of, oh, you are going to die. No, you're not. Like, stop saying that.
The reason we have life insurance is because we have a mortgage, not because he rides.
Yeah, there's a lot more good reasoning to have life insurance than just because one of us rides bikes. Oh, this is good. I'm a father of four, mostly grown kids, never stopped riding. They've all been on the back of my bikes at various times, as well as wife going riding with me. That's nice. My youngest now rides his RC390. That's so cool. Ripping up the canyons, SoCal, with his old man. We ride responsibly and pray. And I pray that he has a lifetime enjoyment on motorcycles. There's a little picture that's really cool. Like I have had, best father-son time ever. Be careful, ride within your limits. big one. Put your little rugrat on the bike when he can hang on tight enough.
Yeah.
See, this is the answer of a proper rider right here.
There's a couple underneath. The one that says, keep it if you can afford it. But if your experience is like mine, your yearly mileage about to plummet on its own accord. I don't agree with that. I think you make time for things you want to make time for.
Again, it comes back to the whole hobby thing.
Yeah.
If it's something that you enjoy, you have to keep doing it.
This person said, I didn't. I started wearing a helmet. Prior to my son, I just didn't care if I died. Suddenly I had this little person who relied on me to be there. So this person's still riding, but they've kind of gone more of a, I'm going to take a bit more safety conscious.
Yeah.
And then I didn't, you do you. Yeah.
I didn't, you do you.
Yeah.
Last one. This isn't
a
decision I've had to make, but I have many friends and some family that have. It is an understandable dilemma. As you well know, you make a rider safer, but you can't make it safe.
What?
So again, this is in reference to the whole unpredictability of riding bikes.
Yeah.
But yes, you as the rider make it as safe as you need to. How does your partner feel about it? That's funny. That's exactly what you were saying.
But I don't agree with the next bit.
I think your choice ultimately has to be up to you, but your partner is part of the equation too. Do you think? I think the problem is that I think partners naturally would have an opinion about it.
I think you ask them, but don't base what they say as the base of your decision.
Yeah.
It's like what you do. You ask what I think, and we'll have a discussion, but you won't necessarily do something or not do something because I have a certain feeling about it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. A friend of mine rode until she was so pregnant she couldn't get her pants on and was back to riding pretty much as soon as she was physically able. Well, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Fair play. Yeah, so I mean that's pretty much where we're at, I think, with this.
That's how we feel.
Make your own decision, but at the end of the day, just remember that if you do give it up, you're going to be giving up a hobby, which could be incredibly life-changing in its own right.
So I've just read the sentence of the next one. I started riding after my son was born.
As a way of commuting and fell in love with it, and I've not stopped.
Yeah.
Because you get some parents that will give up riding until their kids are a little bit older, and then they'll pick it back up again.
Yeah, like someone else, yeah.
So
whereas this person was saying, I didn't ride, but now I've had a son, I do ride.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Honestly,
I could read all these comments.
All of these people are basically saying a very similar thing.
Yeah.
It's down to you how you ride and how responsible you are on the bike. If you are responsible on the bike, you're not stupid, you're going to be all right.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that I reiterate almost every single time we talk about a similar subject, how dangerous are motorcycles. It's the same answer from me. It all depends on how you ride. It's got nothing to do with other people around you on the road. It's how you react to those people. It's how you prepare in advance for those incidents. That is where it's at, you guys.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll leave it here. You guys, as the wifey said, let us know down in the comment section below how you feel about it. And if you've got any advice for us that's similar or what have you, or contradictory to this, because we're in a very similar position, then drop it down in the comment section below. I'd really appreciate it. But thank you ever so much for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you've learned something. If you have, go ahead, leave that like, hit that subscribe button down there and that notification bell so you don't miss any more of our podcasts from us. But thanks again, everyone. You guys, you take care. Ride safe. We'll catch you all in the next video. Have a good one.